Well, hello for those of us here. My name is Justin. This is Soleil right next to me. And we'll go ahead and introduce ourselves, and then we'd like to hear about who you guys are and what you teach and so on, and make sure we're tailoring things correctly for you. But this is me. My name is Justin, like I said. I have a degree in history, a bachelor's from the University of North Texas, and I just finished up my master's in museum studies from the Cooperstown graduate program right up the road from us. I'm currently an education coordinator at the Hanford Mills Museum in East Meredith. But I've been doing stuff with artifacts and with kids for about a decade now. I started off in high school as a World War I and World War II reenactor. There's a picture of me on the slide there in uniform. I think I was 16 there. I was very skinny. I had a nice haircut. Not so anymore, but that's okay. And I like to say I'm recovering from that. But occasionally the itch is still there. So
I was gonna say, never recovered from that.
no, we're joining an 1880s baseball league this month, so that's the next goal. But yeah, through that I got a lot of experience letting kids see things, letting kids touch things, pass things around, and it really just developed into something where you can see the passion that brings kids to historic things through objects, and that's why I got into museums. Because they just have such a capacity to tell stories and get kids interested in things. So that's what we're here to talk about today. Then do a click. Yes.
Yep, my name is Soleil. I moved here from Dallas as well, unbeknownst to. We didn't know each other, but we just happened to be from the same place. I got my degree in dinosaurs, mainly at Binghamton University. And I've been an educator for about 20 years in different capacities. So there was a lot of individual presentations of especially plant-related things in Dallas. And that continued here, doing all kinds of teacher's assistant jobs and things like that throughout Binghamton since I've been here for the last 10 years. And about 3 years ago, I started educating at Hanford Mills. And that mainly consists of after-school programs and grade school level science and history teaching.
So we'd like to hear from you all. You can talk a little bit about yourselves and maybe what you teach, and that way we know kind of what levels we're working with and so on.
Yeah, I can go. I'm Kylie Reicher. I teach K1 ICT in Newburgh. I've been teaching for the past 8 years. And that's it, really.
All right, I'm Ashley Leggett. I teach in Newburgh as well. I do dual. K, pray for me. I do have my degree, my bachelor's. I'm going for my master's. I actually want to become a guidance counselor with middle school. So I'm working towards that. I love the babies, but I think it's time to and that's about it.
Gotcha. Well, so the stuff we'll talk about here, just to give you guys kind of an idea of our goals here. Day one, we're kind of going to go through some artifacts here that I've brought in. You might be able to see them in front of me on the table. I know we're in preview mode because of the slides. So that's all right. And we'll kind of give you guys as adults ways to analyze objects, to think about artifacts, and stuff that you might be able to bring into classroom settings to show to kids. And then in session 2, we'll talk about activities that can be done with them, and they'll apply to a variety of age ranges. The program that we'll end up showing you is from a program called CROP here, Creating Rural Opportunities Program, I believe. Which is after school programs for kids. And we'll see groups ranging from pre-K all the way on up to like 8th grade in that program. So anything we develop has to be applicable to a wide variety of age ranges. And so hopefully it's something that you guys can take into your classrooms, into your future careers, and be useful to you. So
you said session 1 is there another part to this?
There is 3 parts to this, Tuesdays moving forward.
Oh, is that like a separate sign up? Because I think I only have this What time does this go until?
where we should be 1 hour blocks, 3
Oh,
1 hour sessions on Tuesdays, 3 weeks in a row.
Okay, I must have had this. I was thinking it was 4 to 7 today.
Oh no, that's all right.
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna look at Frontline right now, and I'll let you know what it says because I was like, I don't get it. What do you mean session 1?
That's
Which
all right.
it should be fine, but
That says 4 to 5, Kylie.
oh, it does.
Yes.
Oh, please. I don't even have a lot of classes going on right now either.
Okay.
Wow, it does. I feel like when I signed up,
But
it was
that's okay because we said 4:30 and it says
Totally.
4. So
So will it
we're
be
here.
okay? So will it be 4:30 the next time?
30 at most today.
Yep.
Depending on you guys. Now, if for some reason you are not able to come back for a future session, we could touch on a couple of pieces or something like that.
Yeah.
Ideally, to get the whole picture, you would hopefully be able to make it throughout the next couple of weeks as well.
Yeah.
We can adjust that time to 4 if that's better.
Fine.
Whatever works for you guys.
I like the 4:30. Gives you time to get home or whatever.
Yeah,
But
that works.
whatever works for you guys. And by the way, I don't think I introduced myself. I am Aaron Sorensen. I am the director here at the Catskill Regional Teacher Center, and we appreciate you guys taking time out of your lives to come and do professional development with us. And
Thank you.
Hi, Kylie. Amy Downey. I work volunteer at the Teacher Center, doing things that need to be done, course development collaborations, and I'm very glad to be here. A couple of roles in education and other fields, but artifacts are fascinating, so I'm glad to be here.
Hopefully it'll be a fun one. So
Yeah.
well, we have a program coming up in the fall. They just put the finishing touches on with Living History Revolutionaries.
oh,
Nice.
excellent. Yeah,
We'll have Joe Ryan come up and
Yeah.
do the full encampment. And
very cool. Well, if you need more artifacts.
yeah, we will.
So
I'll be an artifact, but
So I'd like to open up, and you guys can feel free to contribute by just asking what an artifact is to you all. It's a very broad, sweeping kind of term, and we tend to have preconceived notions coming into it. So if you guys want to throw out a definition, feel free. There's a couple up on the slide we can go over. But if you have any thoughts, feel free.
I'll be honest. My only thought was like something old.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I think of first.
Yeah, that's very typical and perfectly a natural way to go with it. I mean, museums tend to condition you towards that, you know. But the biggest thing that I like to emphasize is that really anything can be an artifact.
Okay.
You know, the definitions we have up here emphasize different things. That first one emphasizes human connection and historical interest. You know, it throws out things like tools and decorations. I think what they're gesturing at there is everyday objects. The second one talks about subsequent use. That would mean there'd be a difference between something that gets used once and something that gets used a whole bunch. So a piece of paper might not become an artifact because it doesn't stick around long enough, but a chair might become one because it sticks around for a long time. And that third one, which I think is a really interesting one and challenges kind of a lot of our notions of it, any mass-produced or inexpensive object reflecting contemporary society or popular culture. So we have a few of those in front of us, and we'll get to talking about those a little bit more. But if you think about something like that, that encompasses most of the things in the room with us, in our houses, anywhere you go.
That junk.
Yeah, junk. Absolutely. Junk can be an artifact, you know. And so anything that you can attach a story to, a historical narrative, you know, anything compelling to could be an artifact. And good museums tend to believe in that.
I will say that there is something here that is kind of left out of the conversation and the definition in most cases. Artifact tends to be anthropocentric. And so a lot of times you will have archaeology focusing on artifacts, but things like paleontology doesn't tend to define bones and dinosaurs in that term. So you don't usually have natural objects being considered an artifact unless they played some significant role in human history. So for example, the dinosaur bones that were being found in the early 1800s and fought over, and those specific bones redecided and re-looked at through different lenses can often be an artifact because we're thinking about them in that human lens. Sometimes if animal bones are left over at a site because that animal was eaten by humans, then they can become an artifact. But if something was just found in nature and nature killed it, nature hid it away, we might not consider that an artifact, even if it's very old.
So basically, anything with a human connection is an artifact.
No history to it.
Yeah, and history can be anything. This is classic postmodernism. I like to throw that word into everything. So what does this mean? Artifacts can be cheap, new, and common. They could also be old, expensive, and rare, and anything in between. For teachers and for anyone trying to educate with them, though, the object is a lens. It's something that we can look through in order to experience the past, to understand a broader narrative. How we categorize it doesn't really matter. It can be Art Deco, it could be Art Nouveau, and all this stuff. These are just ways that we categorize things. For our purposes, it's the story. You're looking for a good story. Good museums operate this way. If you've ever been to a boring museum, you might remember them telling you about the furniture in this historic house, and it's made of mahogany, and it's by this famous guy whose name you don't know, and so on and so forth. And you leave there thinking like, well, why did people live there? You know, what was interesting about this place? How did they interact amongst all these seemingly sacred objects?
Or why did you waste your time going?
Exactly, and paid $25 for a tour. A good museum will tell you the stories, will tell you the social fabric, the overarching narratives. You might have furniture in a room, but why is it arranged that way? Why is this room called a family room? You know, things like that are the deeper ways to discuss these things. And if you're bringing in things into classrooms, that's really what you want to get at. It's less about this helmet in front of me is made of steel. It's more about Vietnam War was a contentious war. And we'll kind of get into a little bit that as we go along.
Yeah.
So I brought some old stuff that we can talk about.
Do we want to stop sharing so that we can talk about the stuff physically?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So we'll stop sharing the screen, and I have a camera here that should be able to kind of zoom in and out on things.
Can you bring it up?
Let's see, can I pin myself? Perfect.
Yeah, but you can also spotlight for everybody. So that
Yeah, how
it
do
stays
I?
on. So if you do that same right click you just did,
Uh-huh.
Do you move them
it's
towards us?
Perfect. Okay,
okay, cool.
so I have a camera here that should be able to zoom in on some things for me. So let's start with the big one, the obvious one right here, and we will zoom into it. So
Upgrade?
there we go. So the helmet right there. So what I'd like to do is just as a group, kind of analyze some objects. We can start off, the thing we always say to kids is you have aliens and you have earthlings. Aliens, if they saw this, they would make qualitative observations. They would say, it's green, it's made of metal, it has text on it, some things like that. So we can start there and get kind of the hang of the object, and I'll come up here in a minute and kind of move it around and show you some different things about it. And then we might start making earthling guesses, educated guesses at what this might be. And when we do that, I'd like to try and make the story as big as possible. Let's connect it out to as many things. When I was in high school speech and debate, we had this thing called impact calculus. We would take any problem that we were debating, so if it's education budget dollars, and we would try to link it to nuclear war. It was a great way of winning debates, but it's also a great way of telling stories.
Yeah.
So you can link it to as big a story as you want to link it, and that's what we're trying to draw out of some of these things. Some of these things, it will be easier than others. So let's get started on this one. Give me some qualitative observations about this.
From an alien perspective?
Yeah, from an alien perspective. What would an alien say about this?
I think the alien perspective is really interesting because if you think about children that are in school today, they didn't experience anything close to this timeline. And so for them, it might be
completely.
There
yes.
is going to be like they've seen military helmets,
Yep.
like in video games and everything else. Like this is not completely alien. So I would say,
Right.
like from an alien perspective, though, it's got lots of different mottled colors on it.
Yep. It's kind of camouflagey. Yep.
Right. The holes.
Holes.
Yep.
Yeah. So there are a variety of them. Some of them look maybe pre-made. Some of them maybe not so much.
I was gonna say, like it looks like it's hard.
Yeah. Made of metal. Absolutely. Yep. We can flip it over here.
And it looked like it's fabric. Yeah, fabric over it.
Yeah.
Fabric over it. These two pieces actually come apart. You can see this is made of a different material. Smooth. Yep. There. You notice anything? It might be hard to see on the camera, but written on the sweatband here.
Oh yeah.
Property of.
The engravement.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it actually says Thomas L. Cox. It's a name. Yep.
It's webbing underneath.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any
has
text
it has
here?
buttons
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
on it. It has two round things with text. And
Right?
something else that looks like it
Symbol.
might be pressed on the symbol.
Yeah. Okay. So this is probably how your students are going to look at this object. I mean, they'll be able to read the text. They'll read Omega Man, We Try Harder, you know, some of these things. But that might be the most that they can off the bat do with something like this. So as adults, though, tell me what you know.
So like on a deeper level,
Worn.
and I already said it, like there's holes, but I was gonna say it looks worn, like used.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Does
I would
anybody have a
say-
guess about time period, maybe?
Oh, before my time, that's for sure. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I don't even know, but I know it's way older than us.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I would say like not as old as like, you know, like revolutionary
No.
you know, marching band hats.
Right. You
So-
wouldn't say this is from the 1700s.
It has
Right.
a peace symbol on it.
That's right. Yeah.
So
when do we associate the peace symbols with?
60s.
Yeah.
60s.
Yep, the 1960s. So this is from Vietnam, the Vietnam War, which went from 1965 to 75. So you might be able to guess a couple of things. You guys know this is the peace symbol, right? And then this button right here has a little bit of another story behind it. Yeah, that's right. So what's interesting about this is that it can connect to a lot of different things. So this is actually how I found this helmet. I bought it at a flea market in Texas. It is very well worn. You know, there's holes in it. It's probably seen some things. And these two buttons were on it when I bought it. There was a unit, an Army unit during the Vietnam War that would get these from airports when they went on leave. This is from a rental car company.
Oh, really is from that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Avis.
Avis rental.
And they would put it on their helmets as a statement. Our unit tries hard. You know, we are a harder working Army unit than the other ones. But at the same time, you have this peace button right here.
Yeah, such a contradiction.
This is a contradiction between these two objects. And so this object can really tell a story. The American public was deeply divided and conflicted about this war. They weren't sure, should we try harder? Should we go with hard work and win the war? Or should we advocate for peace? Should we even be fighting?
Yeah, but at the same time, then I can like spin a tale that like somebody who is devoted to the military, they might see that peace symbol as like, this is it. This is how peace is achieved.
Sure. Right.
The force of my hand allows you to have your peace.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like directly in conflict with how the peace symbol might be used normally.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can see how big the story can get from just a simple kind of personal object. So we'll try it again on another one, maybe give you a little bit of the hang of it. Let's go to something more modern. There she is. This is Oops, I Did It Again. So if you are an alien,
A square or rectangular.
that's right.
Yeah.
It's a clear
Yeah.
rectangular shaped item which has something inside of it, which we would call a cassette.
That's
And there's
right.
a picture of a female, I think, on the front dressed in a certain style that we aliens don't wear.
That's right.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would be like, why is that woman half naked?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So how can we make the story of this as big as we can? Give me some ideas. Start throwing out some themes.
I mean, granted, like considering like we know her or like thinking about people that know her, we could say, oh, like that's Britney Spears. She's a singer. Could, obviously it's old school because it's not like a CD or on a phone.
Right.
So what is Britney Spears?
I think of cassette because I think of cassette tapes. Like I think of the cassette players when I see things like that.
Yeah.
Boxes and the Walkmans. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a little bit about technology, like kind of inherent in it as well.
So the
and kind
history
of
of technology, the development of, how we got to modern digital stuff.
We know from history about her that she's a woman that's gone through a lot of problems and struggles and evolved over her lifetime.
Yep. So she could relate pretty strongly to women's history and the historical struggles of women, especially when they, come into wealth and the way that property is handled with women and so on. Yep.
There's
Absolutely.
also, I mean, this was really popular. This is really common. Like this is pop music.
Exactly.
And it is like pop culture, so to speak. So there's a big part of culture itself as well.
Yeah. So it connects to fashion. It connects to music. It's pop culture. It's what was popular.
And the box itself, there's an item inside the box. As an alien, I'm not sure what the item is, but it's enclosed in there for safety.
That's right.
Or maybe it would place something.
So what's interesting, and it'll be hard for you to see, but this cassette has been spliced. It was very well loved, and somebody had it, played it enough to where it kind of unwound itself, and there's a little bump where someone had to wind it back up with a pencil and splice the cassette back together because it had worn out completely. So somebody very much loved this cassette back in 1999. The box itself also has some cracks, some damage to it. It's been in someone's pocket, probably on a school bus, back in the day.
Yeah.
But the box itself is very simplistic.
Yeah.
It's not like the ornate work of something, right? So it's utilitarian in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so generic. You can take the paper out in it and make it a clear box.
That's right. Yeah. The boxes might be interchangeable.
I could argue, though, that an alien might not know that plastic is going to be cheap.
Yeah.
Like we associate plastic with cheap because we make it so much. But if you didn't know material history, then I would say
said it wasn't ornate, but there are ridges on it, and there are.
So we could get into material science
Yeah.
through something like this. We could say, why isn't this box made of metal? When did we invent plastic? So if you're making a museum exhibit and you're trying to tell a story, we just gave like 50 different stories that we could tell. We could talk about the evolution of materials, the evolution of pop culture, the evolution of women's rights, and you can get bigger and bigger and bigger just from a Britney Spears cassette tape. So we'll go and we'll do a little bit of a tougher example. Could you zoom out just a little bit?
You have plenty of room underneath it too.
There we go. That's true. Okay. What do we see?
It just looks old.
Yeah, it sure is.
It looks like it's sat in the sun for too long, like dull, almost.
Yeah. Well, so I'll tell you, this is actually, we'll get back into material science. This is made of a paper board that is not like a glossy, plasticky chipboard like we know today. So this is actually the way it probably would have looked on the shelf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ashley, I'm a little curious. You said it looked old, which but what makes you think that?
Yes, there you go.
Wait, that's cereal? That is cereal?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I had that before. I'm looking like,
Yeah.
So what about it makes you think old?
It just looks like the coloring on it looks old, like the picture looks old.
The rips on the side.
The font.
The font, yes.
The font.
Yes, absolutely.
Fonts.
So you're using context clues to
And
kind
the
of
Quaker
determine-
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Quaker.
Even the Quaker guy,
It's funny, the
absolutely.
Quaker guy
And we
shot
would
from
never
guns.
write something like that on a box today.
Yes,
Or
shot from guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So
That's why I was
let me
like,
show you
wait, is
something-
that cereal?
Something else you might not ever put on a box for children again, a warplane.
Yeah, see? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Well, they wouldn't do that nowadays.
that's right. This is the consolidated B-24 Liberator bomber. Kids were meant to cut out this square on the back of the cereal box
Keep it.
and keep it as a collectible. Put it in a scrapbook.
Didn't each box have a different?
That's right.
Yeah.
Each box had a different panel, which you can see. Boys and girls, save the new series of plane pictures. I actually have the.
I mean, I
full-
feel like that is cool. That would
Yeah.
fly nowadays.
Unless they put a toy in it.
Yep, toys sometimes they're still in cereal boxes, but there's been a general movement to move kids' toys away from war to some
Yeah,
extent.
like you say it's nifty, and I think that's really like interesting because I think that if this was a brand new cereal box and it was collect these like 12 new like killing machines and they were like showing modern like weaponry,
Yeah, if
that
you had a
we-
box of cereal with a B-2 like
Yeah.
stealth bomber on
you
it,
wouldn't say like that's so cool, but it's like there's something
Depends
cool
on what
about
it
it.
is.
People like
It's
it.
being like
I would find
historical.
that cool. But like if you had like different kinds of machine guns, I would be like, no way. But I think
Yeah.
I might like a B-2 bomber or
so
something.
why do we like planes more than we
Right,
like guns, right? It's technology.
Like the tech, right? Like
Yep.
the big techie things, I could see like wanting the battleship and
Yeah,
Yeah, well, it's showing you the wheat
Yeah.
and the little sparkies, but you don't know who it's for really. It could be for my cat, could be for a rabbit.
that's true. That's true.
It
Now
could not even be food.
you get a
Yeah.
question tier, mothers,
Well, it has kids at the top.
Right.
us, yep,
And then mothers.
boys and girls, and mothers.
No, dads.
When to serve grains shot from guns. And then there's recipes.
Before dad gets
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
So when do we think this is from?
Oh.
Earlier than that.
Like the
Don't you think?
50s.
40s, 50s?
Yeah,
It's
definitely
references.
50s, 40s.
We got the bomber there.
So when did jet airplanes come out? 'Cause this
Oh,
is
well.
not a jet airplane.
This guy big
It
40.
has propellers.
Yeah, this is actually from the late 1930s.
Oh, 30s. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh.
So there's a few hints that would tell you that. This is a World War II era aircraft, earlier war. And in this era, before the US had entered the war, we had what is called the home defense era. So there was a lot of marketing and pushing of war, material, basically, to families and to kids to kind of gear the country up for war. We had a feeling we were going to have to enter this big thing. And so now we're starting to show off our equipment, show off our stuff. If a 15-year-old got a hold of this in 1938, they'd be 18 in 1941 when the US entered the war.
Ah,
So this is how they learned about the planes and how they decided, I want to go into the Army Air Corps, something like that.
It also says about the structure of the house being mothers as
Yes,
a provider.
yes, that's a great observation.
Wow.
So we have something about family structure here. Who's providing food for the kids? Who should be deciding what to serve at meals? This box says mothers. It does not address parents.
right.
It addresses mothers. So that's an interesting
Yeah.
touch. That says something. And then on the front,
Shot from guns.
shot from guns.
Yeah.
That's right. We have a very
who's it
particular
being marketed
attitude.
to? Isn't that being marketed to the kids? Like, do you think the moms are gonna care that it's shot from a gun?
So if you're a 15-year-old in 1938, and you go to the grocery store, the local grocer, and you're trying to pick out a wholesome breakfast cereal, you're probably going to gravitate towards the one that says it's shot from guns. You know?
A lot of the kids went shopping with their parents in those
That's
days.
right. That's right. The kids would
Yeah.
come along shopping. So, what broader histories does this pertain to? Give me some ideas.
Wheat.
Wheat.
Where was wheat grown?
Yeah, farming. Absolutely.
Farming, and what process was used the puffet.
Yep. So
And,
industry and farming.
and Sparky, is that a made-up name, or does it have to do with when you fire a gun, you see sparks coming out?
So we call that maybe marketing, right? So the history of advertising, the history of marketing. We have the history of farming, the history of industry, of production.
And
Obviously on the back, war. War is a real easy one for kids, unfortunately.
What is the technology that's being referred to on the side?
Yeah.
So,
the
You're talking
ingredients
about
on
yeah,
here?
no, you were almost there.
This side or this side?
That side.
Yeah.
Yes. So it says, tune in, Terry and the Pirates.
Yeah.
Is that tune in a TV tune in? Is that a,
It's a radio.
That is a radio.
Yeah,
This is a
that's
radio
it.
program. So General Mills, owner of Quaker Oats and other companies, sponsored radio spots in the 1930s. So they had programs that they owned.
Yeah.
And they had mascots for those programs that then they would use to market food to
So
kids.
the kid would
Yeah.
listen, hear it.
Yep, the
and he'd
kid
say,
would
"Mom,
listen
I
to
gotta
Terry and
have,
the Pirates.
Terry's Sparkies. or
Terry
whatever."
says to eat Quaker Oats, puffed wheat Sparkies.
And for breakfast, because otherwise,
That's right. Yes,
when
for
you're supposed to eat
breakfast.
this, right? Like they're telling you when you're supposed to eat this.
That's right.
it is crazy that all of this, you're getting this from a cereal box.
Yes.
Like
And
all
that's
the
what I'm
history
trying to
and-
point out is we are getting all of these narratives. We're understanding all this.
It's like a
stuff about-
commercial.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
a commercial on a box.
We know
Yeah.
it's a company, and some kids, I mean, who might know a little bit about religion, we know Quakers don't go to war.
That's true. And that's an interesting contradiction in this
Yeah.
too.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's a great point and one I was going to bring up. So what do we know about Quakers? Quakers are pacifists. The brand name is Quaker Oats. Shot
I
from
never thought
guns.
that.
World War II. That's a big contradiction. So what we've learned is that in the 1930s, brand identity doesn't mean just the words anymore. People recognize brands. They don't think of this and see a contradiction anymore.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting development too. And that's something we can talk about. So if I, as a museum professional, got a hold of this box
Uh-huh.
and I was making an exhibit, I would try and talk about all those things in relation to this box. You can get a really nice window into 1938 right here. You have families and the way they are structured. You have the way they shop, the way they eat, the things they believe, the things they idolize,
Their entertainment.
their entertainment. That's
Yeah.
right, their technology. It is all right here.
The choice of red is interesting too. From
Yeah.
an archery
Yeah.
perspective, yeah.
It is all right here.
What's the bottom of the box? Right?
Just the same as the top. Yeah. They'll have your locations.
The kids today will be so overwhelmed with that box.
Oh, yeah. And this
Yeah.
is why this is what we're saying is the adult session today.
Yeah, but at the
You
same
know?
time, it is still like a lot. It's even nice to compare it to, like, if you had today's cereal box that you could set right next to that.
Yeah.
There would be just history comparing how much information
And there is still a lot on your cereal boxes. I would encourage you both after this session to go into your pantry and take a look at any cereal box or any food packaging you have and do an analysis like this on it. Like we said, anything can be an artifact. This one's cool, it's old, but if I brought in a Cheerios box, you'd get just as much out of it.
Isn't this when they had to put the, wasn't necessary to put the ingredients?
That's
in?
right. There are no ingredients listed here. There's no
Oh.
nutrition facts, nothing.
So that's one of the things we talk about in history today, right? What's missing, right? And
Yep.
yeah,
So that's
a
notable
great
too. We
point.
talk about what's missing as well as what's here.
Justin, you have 20 minutes left.
Okay. Yep. We're going to speed through these last two.
Is there anything in it?
No, there's not. This one is really notable. And so I'll get this up closer to the camera. So what do you think this is? See if that'll focus here.
I mean, I can't really see. It's like blurry
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
trying to make it less blurry.
and it's small. I don't know. Is it like a coin?
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Now walk it in and maybe that'll.
If you here, let me see.
Yeah, go ahead. Soleil knows how to do like.
We need the
TikTok-
pro.
TikTok makeup artist kind of stuff right here. So
A container?
Is it a coin?
Is it nested?
it is a coin.
Yeah, we're gonna get
Coin sleeve?
Yeah. I honestly think the closer you get, the more blurry it is.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I'm trying to make it focus now. I can see what y'all are seeing, so I'm trying.
We'll zoom out a little and then
Yeah,
maybe
I
it'll,
think it might be using.
and then see if you can get it closer.
Yeah.
So, you notice some numbers written on there? Yep,
On the paper.
on the paper. And on the back of the coin, there is a figure.
Yeah, there's not much you can see.
Yeah, that's okay. So, this coin, just to lay it out for you, this is a 2,000-year-old Roman coin. It is of an emperor named Vespasian, who took power after he put down a revolt in Judea, also known as Israel today. So that's his face on the front, along with an inscription. And on the back is a figure kneeling and looking sad next to a Roman flag, like a standard, and the inscription Judea. So the figure on the back is a personification of Judea, looking sad and defeated, basically. Yeah. So this is a celebratory coin minted to show that he won a great victory.
What's it made of?
Coin is made of silver, about 90% silver, which is why it's held up so well.
I was gonna say it looks like it's in really good condition.
It is for its age.
2,000 years.
Yes.
I hope I look that good in 2,000 years.
Yeah. So what narratives can we connect this to? This is a big one.
I mean, currency.
Currency.
Anything currency.
Yeah. The history of money. Literally money itself. Absolutely.
We're beyond barter system, using a money system.
Yeah. Economies, right?
What could this buy you? I mean,
Yeah.
Like the value.
The value of things. Yep. So this would buy you about 4 loaves of bread in ancient Rome. That's not nothing. This was about a day's pay for a usual laborer, a typical layperson.
So I've watched enough of the Antique Roadshow to talk about provenance, right?
Yes.
Like, how'd you end up with it?
Well, I bought this at an auction. It was dug up in what we would now know as Anatolia, Turkey, that region in the 1960s, and came over to the US in the early 1970s. Most ancient coins have been buried for most of their lives, so it's common practice for them to be dug up. And before antiquities laws were passed in the late 70s, it was completely legal to export them to the US. So that's why I'm able to own this one. Yep.
So it's put in a kind of a protective thing, which means probably someone is collecting coins.
Right. Yeah. So from the so that's why I put this one in here. Is we have ancient history, but we also have modern history attached to it. So someone clearly collects these. It's valued in 2026. What about the back with Judea kneeling there? It's hard to see. What about modern political history?
Yeah, I mean, Judea, if you're saying that it's Israel, there is like a kind of conquesty
active
through line.
Yeah,
that you
active ongoing conflict. Do you think most people who are weighing in on Israel and Palestine and that conflict today know that that has been going on for over 2,000 years? For over 3,000 years? Probably not. Yeah, if you're Jewish, you might know. Absolutely. If you're Palestinian, you might know.
Right.
After this revolt was put down, was the first time the term Palestine was ever used to describe that tract of land.
Do you know why it was called Palestine?
Because the Romans were renaming the province, essentially, trying to culturally assimilate the area into the Roman Empire. Yep. So this has certainly ancient history. It's certainly very cool because it's probably a little bit valuable. It's cool because it's old, it's rare, but it also has a lot of bearing on modern geopolitics.
Yeah.
So you have to look at objects through the lens not only of the time they were made, but also today.
Well, and that's why I wanted you to do this kind of thing. Like I can imagine a kid going, "Mom, I got to see a 2,000-year-old coin today." Like when do you get to do that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
And then all that stuff, story gets poured into that. So you as a teacher can go, "Oh yeah, remember when I showed you that coin?" And all that information is going to come back out again.
That's right.
You can write a story about someone who found the coin.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a lot we can build off of from there, but we should keep moving so that we can get to the rest of our stuff. So that's probably it for objects.
Did you want to talk about, or skip it?
We can skip. I also brought an iPod if you guys want to think about this while we're talking, and maybe we can circle back to it at the end. This was my ex-girlfriend's. I did not give it back. So we can also add that later on.
Yeah.
At any rate, so we'll zoom out.
Do you have a lot that you want to cover, or do you have?
No,
stuff
I
for
mean,
me,
so
or how do you want to do it?
we'll return back to the slides. I just have a couple more slides and then whatever you wanted to.
Sure.
Yeah. All right. Now, how do I share again?
Oh, back up.
Screen.
Yep. Yep. Move it about. Actually, move the mouse about. There you go. Okay.
And then
share.
Yeah, you can wear it if you want.
No.
There we go. I think a full metal jacket. Let me see that.
Yeah.
Then I can eat out of it.
Okay, can you guys see the presentation again?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, we talked about some of my stuff. So here are some just big lenses that you can think about if this helps in terms of doing this kind of analysis. Social, political, economic. And if you have these categories, if you have a sheet for yourself as a teacher that shows these big categories and you could fill in a little bit on each one, it'll help you do a little bit of that deeper historical thinking, that analysis. And that's a great way to pick something to then show to kids. If you can fill out all these categories, you'll be in good shape. So this is just an idea. So how did that go? Was that hard? Was that easy? Was it interesting? What engaged you the most? Give me some ideas.
I felt like it was very interesting. And it's like
Yeah.
always interesting to look at things in a different perspective. Because like I might look at things and be like, okay, I don't care about that. That's, you know what I mean? But then when you hear the background of it or like its story, or you actually put some thought into it, it's very interesting.
Yeah. Do you feel more connected to these time frames after looking at these objects? Do you have a deeper understanding?
It's nice to like have the information about it and you know, just know that like there's history there. With like anything, there could be history in a story.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about easy and difficulty, like I find that it is hard if somebody is like, hey, what do you know about this? What year does it come from? And things like that are very nerve-wracking because obviously I don't know any of that. And so when I am looking at these objects, that to me is beyond my capabilities, probably a nervous kid's capabilities. But when you were talking about, like, when we're looking at the helmet from the perspective of an alien, and we were backing out to just like listing observable facts, I think that's a lot simpler because you're not going to necessarily be wrong about its green.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
That's what I like about
And that's the greatest place to start when you're working with kids, is easily observable. Yep, they can touch it. You know, bring in something that you can pass around. This is a sturdy, hefty thing. It can go around a classroom, it can get touched, and kids can learn a lot by doing that. And if you've just had a lesson on Vietnam and then you pass this around, they're going to say, wow, you know, I'm getting to touch part of that lesson. And
For the years.
yeah,
I like the fact that we can all come up with different things. So like we all have a different way of looking at it. So even if my thinking is really basic, like to say, oh, it's green might sound kind of silly, but I wasn't thinking about the color. I was thinking about something completely different.
Yeah.
And I was thinking immediately this two parts that you could eat out of the inside.
Sure. Yeah. You could use this as a stool if you wanted to. You know, it's sturdy. You could sit on it. Like,
I like the fact that we all can contribute and we really end up coming up
Yeah,
with a much deeper way of looking.
it's a
at it.
great way for a group to feel a sense of discovery,
Yeah.
and that's what
Right.
works
I like
really,
that.
really
like-
well in
I
classes.
like the fact that it's like we can compare it, especially with the younger kids, with the cassettes and the CDs, to the point that we don't even have the CDs anymore.
Yeah,
It's like a timeline for everything. If I was to have that cereal box, I would show them that, and then show them one from my time until now. Like everything changed as the years go by, so they can
Yeah.
see how different it is. And I'm pretty sure they would love that little the iPod.
Oh, yeah.
Just to know
Yeah.
that music is coming
To
from
us,
out
that's
of that little
commonplace.
thing.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that's another thing is like when we think about what is commonplace to us, it is surprising how often the children do not recognize some of these objects. Now we will bring the next time that we're in here, we're going to bring some objects that are more specifically designed for bringing in front of children. And this is a sort of a sense that they can learn to engage. And if you teach them starting with objects that like they may recognize or don't recognize, and then juxtapose those to each other to kind of talk about like what aliens would think. And then they start thinking about like what would an alien think of their PlayStation 5? And like how much, if you can back out of it, they start to see things more as an object than a association that they have with that thing.
Yep. And if you take it at the 1,000-foot level, this is a great introduction to critical thinking
I was
skills.
just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you can compare and contrast also. What do these have?
I think it'd be so fun to do like the evolution, like you have the cassette, but like was a record player before the cassette, right?
Oh,
Right.
right.
Yep.
Or- so
And
like
having kids put things in order, make timelines,
And you've got
right to
then-
CDs to iPods to
and then
things
moving,
like-
Yeah.
moving those objects around too to tell stories. And that's basically what museums do.
We're engaging in
Yeah.
a constructivist process.
Yes.
that'd be a fun little project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
that
like
we'll get
activity.
into a little bit of that next session, is the idea. So, yeah. So we'll move on to, so this is just for me. I like to start with, if we're teaching this in a classroom, if I'm talking to kids with these objects, I start with the event. It's more exciting when, we say armies are rolling across Europe, World War II is in full swing, and then we get narrower and narrower, and finally we say World War II was even on cereal
In the
boxes.
morning.
Yeah, in the morning, during breakfast, World War II was there, and you're holding a small piece of that. Kid gets a sense not only for the object's connection to the story, but they get that sense of connection overall to the story because they're getting to interact with a piece of it. They understand how it fits into things. If you say this helmet's made of metal, it's heavy, it's old, this was there during Vietnam, and the kids don't have a whole lot of context for that, it's going to be hard for them to form that connection.
But they know war.
That's right, but they'll know a war.
Yeah.
And so if you zoom in, objects are more interesting. That's not always true, and Soleil will talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, you can. Well, if you want, you can finish.
Yeah,
We got one
okay.
more slide, and I'll get into that.
Yeah, I mean, so this just goes over kind of what our next couple of sessions will look like for this. So next session is just going to be a demonstration of a hands-on kids activity, like I said, that we do for those crop programs. We'll probably have the people here in person doing it, and we can move that camera around and zoom in and kind of show what people are up to and demonstrate those different parts of the activity. And then we'll do a little discussion based off of that, talk about how we can tailor it to different age groups and what kids might get out of it. And then the third session, we're really hoping to connect teachers with local resources. So we're going to talk to our collections department and kind of get an idea of if a teacher wanted old stuff from a museum in a classroom, what would that look like? How can you guys go about starting that process? We'll talk a little bit about antique stores, thrift stores, where to find this kind of stuff. I'll tell you nothing, with the exception of the Roman coin, that was a graduation present to myself. The rest of these things, I did not pay more than $20 or $30 for.
Some of them very cheap.
Some of them are, yeah, quite.
Almost free.
One of them was free because I stole it from my ex-girlfriend. Yes. But, so
Does
you
it
can
work?
find this. It does work, which is great. You can find this stuff anywhere, and that's what we're kind of hoping to connect you guys to and give you an idea of how to start bringing these things
You can
in.
also have kids bringing things that.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
my.
Show and tell. That's another
Or
great
even
way.
the teachers can find things from their own houses to bring
Yep.
that
Yep.
story
You can-
together.
And we also have enough time that we will also look around where you guys are at specifically.
Yep.
And we'll give
And
you some ideas that are local to y'all.
I know some thrift stores down there that are pretty high quality. I've been down towards Poughkeepsie a few times and so on. So at any rate.
You can make up alternative uses for it.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah,
create
absolutely.
something else out of it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I just wanted to bring up one last thing here. Kids are very drawn to things that are cool. And like you guys said, like looking at this thing, it is a very cool piece of history and there's a lot to it. And when we first set it up here, it was just a box. And we kind of added layers to the coolness and you guys looked at the different layers and came up with your own pieces of that coolness as well. You know, a lot of times Justin was coming from this perspective that a lot of these common items can have a point and have history that's worth showing, even though they are like almost like worth very little on their own. But there is something that often happens in discussions around things like art history, where you also talk a lot, like you mentioned the word provenance, where you're talking about like the individual object and its individual history. A lot of these things are duplicated quite a lot. But Walter Benjamin is a art history guy that gets talked about forever and ever. He's in every other essay that's ever been written. And he talks a lot about the aura of items and kind of what happens when they get duplicated. Like how this Brittany tape is worth less because there's not one, you know, this isn't the one Brittany had in her hands. And so that being said, these can go through incredible histories. There is a little piece of these that you can tape over. And if you tape over, it allows you to rewrite this cassette tape. You can record right over it and make it your own. Now,
I used to do that all the time.
Yeah. So if I told you that this one right here was spliced because it was taped over, if I told you that 1 year after this came out in 2000, that there was a man who had to sit in his car and was hearing a local radio broadcast in early September of 2001. And the broadcast was so important that in haste, he recorded over some of Britney's beautiful music and captured a retelling of local news during 9/11. And it's on this tape. That would change the aura and importance, the coolness to kids, all of that. And you can feel that aura a little bit, especially if I tell you that I lied and all of that is completely like this is just a normal tape. And if you listen to it, you would just hear songs from Britney. And if there is like a little disappointment from that for you, then I think that tells us two things. One, you're not in Britney's army. And two, also that the aura is something that you can feel. It is an importance that you relate to a specific object, even if it is a digital reproduction. And in the digital age that we're well into now, there are even historic objects that are becoming part of digital history with high reproducibility. Okay, so I can start with an object and I can say, I can lower its aura by saying that I grabbed this little thing on the way out of my house last minute because I didn't have any better ideas. And that makes it potentially less cool. It makes it less cool to kids, less cool to adults. But in around 1999, Nintendo came out with a new gaming system called the GameCube. And there was one little nerd that got something called Sonic the Hedgehog. And she played it all the time, Sonic the Hedgehog, all the time. And you could play this game endlessly. And I did. I played it. And one day I became old. And I don't know what happened, but when I would go play games, they didn't feel the same way that they used to. But there was one old Sonic game that felt nostalgic. it felt really powerful, so I played it a lot. And as I entered into the workforce and I left some of that old playfulness behind, the only time that I would ever reach into that video game world was when I was depressed. And so, of course, I got a world record because I was depressed that often and I was playing video games that often. So eventually in Sonic, I got a nice shiny world record, and it's on this memory card. And that's not a lie. This is a memory card that is one of a kind. And so now, suddenly, if you show this like little piece of plastic to a kid, there is something contained within it. It's not part of anything that was manufactured. It was used and changed, and the data that's stored inside of it also becomes its own object. It doesn't really exist, but there is a world record that's in there somehow. And so not every object is something that could be seen. And you can show digitized versions of things. And a lot of that kind of reproducibility is something that's strange to the museum world. And it hasn't been completely wrapped up. You won't usually go to history museums that will have like a digital version of something, and that's the only thing that exists in front of you. And so kids, though, more and more exist in this digital world. And those digital objects and that digital fame and things like that matter more and more to them. And so that coolness can come from directions that we aren't expecting. And so next time, that'll be a lot of what we're talking about, is how to make objects cool for kids and how to show that they might have been cool for kids a long time ago. And then just talk about objects, because as soon as they want to hold it in their hands, as soon as they want to have that relationship with that object, that's when you can really catch them. That's when you can get them like brought into a conversation that they didn't know you wanted them to be a part of, and they're making it up for themselves.
Very cool. Well, there you go. That's session 1, and we hope we'll see you next week, same time, same bat place, for session 2. We'll lead a little.
Sounds good. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
And it's for 4 or 4:30?
Oh, right.
Did
What
we
do
decide? I think 4:30 is good, as long as.
Okay, that's perfect.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.